I never imagined the quiet corners of my own home could hide a storm. My name is Ethan, and for 7 years I trusted Claire completely. Our life wasn't perfect, just the usual routine of work, bills, and the occasional bad day. But I thought our rhythm was steady, solid. Turns out, the most painful truths often live inside ordinary moments. It began subtly. Longer phone calls explained away as work stress or friends needing support. Late-night messages that made her smile in a way she tried to hide. I brushed it off at first. Everyone needs their own space. But something inside me tugged, soft but persistent. One Friday, I got home earlier than expected. Claire said she was heading out for groceries, yet the quick glance she gave her phone said otherwise. It was tiny, almost insignificant, but it settled like poison. Later that night, I picked up her phone briefly to check a calendar reminder, and that's when everything unraveled. Messages with someone named Liam, flirtatious, intimate, stretching back months. She had never planned for me to see them. I didn't explode. There were no accusations, no shouting. I simply sat on the couch, hands shaking, staring at evidence that seemed to stain the entire room. Every late night, every excuse, every shift in her behavior suddenly connected. This wasn't a slip. It was intentional. Most people might confront their spouse immediately. I didn't. Instead, I planned. Not revenge fueled by impulse, no smashing things or screaming matches, but something deliberate. Precise. I wanted truth laid bare, not a chaotic fight. So I documented everything: dates, messages, photos, patterns. The more I uncovered, the more obvious it became that this wasn't an isolated mistake. It was a whole secret life. When I was sure I had the full picture, I created the setting. I suggested a weekend getaway for our anniversary, something she'd always loved. I kept my tone light, cheerful. She agreed easily, oblivious. The morning we left, I watched her pack with a casualness that twisted my stomach. But I stayed composed. Every smile, every word was measured. During the drive, I acted normal, laughing and reminiscing while mentally arranging the confrontation like a script. This wasn't about shaming her. It was about clarity, about reclaiming the piece of my life she had quietly taken. At the cabin, after we settled in, I let her relax, scrolling on her phone without a worry in the world. Then, when the moment felt right, I said quietly, "Claire, we need to talk." She froze. Something flickered across her face: fear, guilt, recognition. I let silence do its work. Then I laid out everything: the messages, the photos, the timeline. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Her expression told the entire story. All her secret laughter and hidden moments collapsed into panic and disbelief. In that instant, I understood the strength of being patient. Calm, deliberate preparation hits harder than rage ever could. Watching the facade fall away without me saying more than a few steady words was its own form of closure. Her hands shook as she tried to explain, to justify, to twist the truth. I let her speak. Every explanation only exposed her further. I didn't have to tighten the trap. She had built it herself. Every excuse she offered only revealed how deeply the lies ran. When she finally fell silent, the weight of everything she'd done settled between us. Heavy, undeniable. "I trusted you," I said at last, my voice steady, almost empty. "I trusted us, and you shattered that trust day after day." She started to speak again, but I lifted a hand to stop her. I didn't need more explanations. Her words held no power anymore. The evidence did all the talking. Louder than apologies, louder than tears. I told her, calmly and clearly, what came next. She was leaving. The house we built together, the car, the savings, everything would be divided by the law, and I would make sure the truth guided the outcome. Claire's face drained of color. For the first time, she seemed to understand that her decisions had consequences she couldn't slip away from. The lover she'd counted on had disappeared the moment things grew complicated, leaving her exposed and alone. Friends who once laughed with her suddenly kept their distance, uneasy around the truth now tied to her name. I spent the weekend gathering the rest of the documentation: photos, receipts, even notes on her interactions with friends and the man she'd chosen over our marriage. It wasn't spite driving me. It was precision. Each piece was a thread in the tapestry of truth. By Monday, I was ready. Not angry. Not resentful. Just prepared. When Claire tried negotiating, tried charming, tried twisting the story to regain control, I stayed grounded, calm, firm, unshaken. The negotiation was mine to direct. Every request she made was weighed against the facts, and every lie fell apart the moment it met scrutiny. Slowly, almost inevitably, the life she had assumed belonged to her began slipping away. By the end of the week, she had lost everything she once treated carelessly. The home we shared. The car I had bought. The savings she thought she could spend freely. With her affair exposed and her friends stepping back, she had no one left to hide behind. And me? I felt something lift. Not triumph. Liberation. Peace. The tension that had followed me for months evaporated. I could breathe without suspicion creeping into every thought. Sleep came easily again. Looking back, I realized what this ordeal had taught me. Trust is delicate, and once broken, it cannot be repaired with empty words. And what some people call revenge is, in truth, just restoring equilibrium, taking back control, reclaiming dignity. I reconnected with old friends I had withdrawn from during the chaos. Their quiet support reminded me what loyalty really looks like. My life, in the weeks that followed, felt cleaner, sharper, like the air after a storm. Claire reached out one last time, sending a hesitant message that seemed to ask for forgiveness or a second chance. I didn't reply. Not to hurt her, but because that chapter was closed. The story had an ending, and I had already walked past it. The betrayal belonged to her. The recovery belonged to me. In the silence that followed, I recognized how easily one person's selfish actions can derail a life, but also how powerful it is to respond with patience and clarity instead of rage. Real strength isn't loud. It's controlled, deliberate, unwavering. And when used wisely, it restores more than possessions. It restores identity, confidence, self-respect. I still catch glimpses of Claire around town sometimes. When I do, a brief thought passes through me. What might have been, what was lost, what I learned. But there's no bitterness left. Only the quiet certainty that I acted with integrity and regained my equilibrium. Life moves forward, as it always does. The echoes of betrayal and broken trust are behind me now. I walk freely, unburdened, knowing that I rebuilt my life not through rage or chaos, but through steady resolve and undeniable truth. And with each new day, I carry the reassurance that balance was restored, not by shouting, not by revenge in its rawest form, but by calm, precise, unshakable justice. The lesson stays with me. Betrayal can take a great deal, but it can never take the strength of someone who knows his worth and refuses to let lies define his future.